We'll see which talk I actually end up doing by the end. Like he said, my name is Steve, and I am a cartoonist and creator behind the comic strip Worth It, which I've been working on for the last 4 years. I discovered I wanted to be a cartoonist when I discovered Garfield at a very young age. Later, I started reading Calvin and Hobbes and figured, well, I'll never be good enough, which is probably what took me so long to actually get started myself. But what I love about comics, and comic strips in particular, are the way they inform us of the human condition by exposing us to the familiar. Cartoonists are notorious for relating their own personal experience through their comics. So whether you're a parent or a pet owner, you're into politics or pop culture, you've probably found a comic along the way that you found funny, that you enjoyed, that you laughed at. And that's a very true part of ourselves, our sense of humor. And the comics that we like, we could be argued are the ones that we can relate ourselves to, that we can see ourselves in, whether it's the situations or the sensibilities. And these are the comics that we truly connect to. And this connection that we make to comics is actually done in less than 15 seconds, as 85% of statistics are all made up on the spot. 9 out of 10 people know that's how long it takes to read the average comic strip. Comics are a very unique art form, as it marries pictures and words together to create art and to tell us a story. It's also a very familiar art form, as it's been around, as we know them, for over 100 years. And what we know about comics is that they have a very strong drawing power, pun intended. And that power is that we know that when we read a comic, I mean, when would you flip through a magazine and not stop to read a comic? We know in that short time span we're going to be entertained, we're going to be informed, and we're going to be left wanting more. That's what William Randolph Hearst used over 100 years ago when he started putting in comics to sell as newspapers. Quickly, newspapers realized that they could use cartoons to help attract readership to their editorial content. And even today, blogging sites such as Huffington Post, Wired, and Mashable, and many more are using cartoons in the exact same fashion to deliver the message of their content in a very quick, entertaining way in hopes that you will connect to it and connect to their content. These connections that we're making is even stronger for cartoonists now that we're on the web. For the last 15 years, more and more comics have been appearing on the web, and they can do something, now that we have a global distribution tool, we can do something that newspaper comics could never do, because newspaper comics have always had to be mass appeal. But with the internet, now we can talk about niche comics, comics with a very specific subject matter. And what these comics can do, I mean, 2 of the biggest on the web is Penny Arcade. They're about video games. XKCD is how math and science and relationships work. So you tell me a subject matter, we will find you a comic online about that subject matter. But what these comics can do that newspapers couldn't is tell an inside joke, a joke that only people in those audiences will actually understand. And that creates that bond between cartoonist and readership to be much stronger because they feel that they're a part of something. And these comics, especially the ones I named, their readership has actually formed communities around their work. In fact, Penny Arcade has 2 exhibitions a year, and they have their own charity that they work on. And it was this idea, though, of the niche comic and the community that drove me to start doing the work in Worth It that I have been doing for the last 4 years. Yes, Worth It has fictional characters. Yes, fictional stories. But it takes place in the real-world setting of the progressive, forward-thinking, and supportive community that I live in, Guelph. This is a community I've been a part of for almost 20 years. So whenever my readership from this area looks at a Worth It and they see Guelph places, Guelph events, Guelph businesses, or Guelph people, a stronger bond is created because they feel they're a part of something. And it's my hope that that bond becomes a lot stronger and that this community forms around it and that people realize how great this city is and the sense of humor that Guelph has. The readership that I have that's outside of Guelph, I'm looking that they will read the comic, become interested in Guelph, and learn things about our fair city. And the one thing that I truly hope they learn, above all else, is that they realize that Guelph is worth it. And that is the most hackneyed cornball joke I'm going to tell you guys tonight. I'm not a statistician. 100% of us are going to learn something new tonight. I hope some of you just learned something new in the last 5 minutes. My name is Steve. That's how you can find me. Thank you.